Hey everyone. I want to talk about a topic or a subject that most of us have been through, and we might have even been the jealous party. But I'd like to think that I would never purposely hurt somebody due to jealousy. Jealousy and envy, unfortunately, is a toxic human trait, and we've all felt it at some point. But the problem is when it becomes dangerous, when people want to put their hands on you or destroy you, you know, um, slander you or whatever. I have been wanting to do this topic for a minute anyway, but then today I was online and I saw something about this 21-year-old who had some so called friends throw acid in her face because I guess some guy that one of them is interested in was showing her interest. And of course, when you're at that age, things like that can happen, not the throwing of acid. But then you have the young woman, and I did a video not too long ago, Shantilla Robinson, sorry if I'm butchering her name, who had so called friends delete her on a trip that she paid for. And then when they came back to the States, they all, banded together to be uncooperative with the police. So I got this from WikiHow, WIKIHOW. You can look it up on Google. And there are 10 signs that your friend is jealous of you. And of course, it may include these or may include most of them. And I think most of this is common sense. We've all been at work in particular, and that's actually a different topic because your coworkers are typically not your real friends. Although I do have friends that I've known for decades that I met at work. So, yes, you can meet lifelong friends at work, but you also have those ones who pretend to be your friend so they can gossip about you. You have ones who will give you like a little bit of personal information about themselves so you can open up to them. And then you have some who will only get next to you, as I said, just so they can gossip about you. Especially if you're an oversharer or something like that, which I don't recommend. And that's something that I had an issue with, when I was younger, oversharing. Number one, people really don't care about what's going on in your life. Some people do want you to fail and stumble, or they want to laugh at you. And in some cases, it'd be jealousy because they project onto you, oh, you think you're perfect and, or whatever, when you don't think that, number one. And number two, you know what your own shortcomings are. But one thing I can tell you, you never tell people who are not your friends, where your insecurities are and things like that, because some people will purposely try to hurt you with your insecurities. I've been there too, you know. So here are the 10 signs that your friend may be jealous of you. That includes backhanded compliments. We've all been there. And I can't think of any examples right now, but you know what a backhanded compliment is. Undermining and criticizing you, gossiping, definitely been on the receiving end of gossip and slanders. It's not fun. Being competitive with you. And sometimes you don't even know that they're being competitive, but every time you look up, they want to try to one up you when you're just, minding your own business, or you're just, doing your own thing without a thought, but you know, but you guys know what I mean. Downplaying your achievements, definitely been there. And here's the thing. It doesn't always have to be friends. It could be family too. Not being happy for you, lack of support, imitating you. To me, that's almost the same as being competitive. And some of you guys might remember that movie, Single White Female, real creepy movie. So that reminds me of imitating you. Talking about you behind your back. That's something else that obviously I've been through. Most of us have probably been through that, where I had a friend, we're no longer friends. And long story short, I asked her one day because she had become friends with the lady who slandered my name, et cetera, et cetera. And so I asked her, I said, why would you sit and let this woman talk about me like that to you? And why is she comfortable talking about me to you? So needless to say, our friendship did end because I felt like she was more loyal to somebody who slandered my name. Not to mention, I was friends with my friend first. And my thing is, if I'm your friend, why don't I have your support? But that's another story. And then another one is avoidance and distance. And I really didn't understand this one when I was a little bit younger. I remember years ago, now in my defense, I was a teenager. And I had a classmate who I thought was my friend. And I don't even remember her name now, but I remember going to her house because I lived around the corner. And, so I just took my happy little self over to her house. And, we sat on her front porch and, I was talking to her. Again, this was decades ago. So, but I vaguely remember. And she like picked at her leg the whole time. Wouldn't look at me, barely grunted out a response. So I think that I knew that was my cue. Okay, leave her alone. And I'm glad that I had enough sense to leave her alone. And then I remember another incident. Now, this girl was never my friend. I don't remember her name either, but she was in my high school class and she couldn't stand me for whatever her reasons were. And I remember one day, but I was always I'm still going to say, hey, how you doing? Whatever. And I remember being at the mall one day. Now, mind you, I'm 17, 18. I'm at the mall. And so I went to the restaurant to get something to eat or whatever. When she saw me in line and I was about to be the next person, this is a different young lady I'm talking about. She closed her cashier, her cash register. And then the minute I went on to the other cashier, she opened back up. And I'm like, this witch. And to this day, I can't even tell you what I allegedly did to her. But I can tell you in that classroom, I was considered a goody goody, which was not my intention. I was who I was. You had a couple of girls in there, 17 years old. One of them had a kid at home. One of my friends was pregnant at that time. So if you follow my channel, I often talk about, the single motherhood, baby mamas, even though we weren't saying baby mama back then. So I didn't just wake up and start talking about baby mamas. I've always, talked about it. And it didn't start off as what people would call judgment. I was making an observation. I called myself being helpful. I even did a paper in high school about, premarital sex and, and the consequences thereof. So I could see fast tail girls not liking me because at that time, like I said, I was considered Little Miss Goody Goody, when that was just literally my personality. I wasn't better than anybody. I just made different choices and decisions. So, but that was jealousy, not from friends. It's worse when it's somebody that calls you friend and they're jealous of you. And another scary thing is sometimes the person that's close to you calling you a friend is a full-blown hater. So you have to be careful with that too. So that was my topic for today. Make sure you chime in below if you got some haterade, jealousy stories to share with us. And I will talk to you later. Bye.